Hello, my name is Kim, and in this timeless reading, we are going to find out what exactly went down during this last full moon, or any full moon that you would like to know about, because this is a timeless reading. Now, we will be looking at three things. First, we are going to find out what events, experiences, or personal experiences were brought about because of or with the help of this full moon's energy. Then we will look at what changed during this full moon, or what changes did this full moon's energy help bring about. And lastly, we are going to find out what stayed and or remained the same. And to wrap up each reading, I will be drawing out extra oracle cards just to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance that might be of assistance to you at this moment, or that might help you better understand how this last full moon influenced you, or what effects it had on you, the energy in general, or your personal spiritual development journey. And I do want to remind you that if after I have given you a closer look at the options, you find that you are drawn to more than one option, that could be an indicator that there are messages you are meant to hear in more than one group or reading. Maybe you are meant to hear about what went down during two different full moons. And I do also want to clarify that a full moon's energy can last a couple of days before and after the night of the full moon. So just something to keep in mind, especially throughout the reading when I say something like after the full moon or before the full moon. Okay? But with that being said, let us take a closer look at the options. Starting off, option 1. Option 2. Option 3. Please take a moment to meditate on the options, and whichever full moon you are drawn to the most, then that will be the group and a reading that has the messages you are meant to hear at this moment. And once you have selected, please head on over either to the description box or the pinned comment in the comment section down below to find the timestamps that will allow for you to skip ahead to your selected group. Okay? And if you are ready, then let us get started. Let's go. Hello, bienvenidos to your reading. So when meditating on the energy of this group, the message "forget the past" came to mind. And then in my mind's eye, I saw gold, the color gold, a golden hue, as well as the metal. And so I took a moment to try and figure what it all meant, or what it was trying to symbolize and or convey. And then suddenly it came to me that possibly this full moon, a lot of you set the goal, the intention, or you began working on releasing the past in a way where it was no longer influencing how you thought of your present and or how you saw your future. So if you are someone who tends to compare your here and now with your past, if you think of your future prospects in comparison to your past, then it's as if a lot of you said to yourself, forget the past. The past was a different time. It was a different era. Now it's different, or it can be different, or it will be different. And so I do feel like there could have been some kind of reprogramming, especially if a past experience impacted you so much that it rewired your thinking in a way, made you believe that an outcome will always be the same no matter what you did or didn't do. And the specific example that is coming to mind is of someone who experienced what they felt or believed to be a failure. And this experience either discouraged them from trying ever again, or from believing in themselves, or it made them believe that they either weren't good enough, or that things would never work out for them, or success wasn't a theme in their story, in their life story. And it's like this full moon, they decided that no, enough is enough. Okay? They experienced a failure in the past, but that's in the past. Forget the past. Let's try again. Just because it didn't work out then doesn't mean that it can't work out now, or that something won't work out for me in the future, because it will. I claim it, it will. And that's why I was shown gold. Gold representing success, optimism, victory, abundance, and even strength. And what I heard in my mind right now is, you're golden. Or the famous quote, "Stay gold, ponyboy," from the book The Outsiders. So yeah, it's sort of like you're reclaiming your light, your power. You're not letting one or a couple of experiences define you, define your worth, define your probabilities, your future prospects, or your ability to succeed or accomplish whatever it is that you wish to accomplish, either in the here and now or in your life. But I definitely feel there has been some kind of reprogramming. A lot of you have taken to rewriting a narrative, your narrative. You have taken to unlearn certain beliefs that have either made you feel small or encouraged you to play it small. So a lot of you could have stepped out of a lack mindset or mentality to transition into an abundant mindset. And maybe that's what you worked on during this full moon, or it's a process that you began during this full moon. Okay, but now I'm going to work with the cards to first find out what happened during this full moon. What were the effects of this full moon energy? Okay, so we have the Woodward with the number 11, and this is the Justice card in traditional tarot. And the Justice card is associated with the zodiac sign Libra. So you may be a Libra sun, moon, or rising sign, or Libra season could be of significance. It could also be that a Libra sun, moon, or rising person played a very significant role in your life throughout this time, throughout this full moon. But for what it is that changed because or with the help of this full moon, or during this full moon, we have the Knight of Bows with Fox, and this is the Knight of Wands. So I'm noticing a color scheme here. But now I'm going to pull out a card to find out what stayed or remained the same. Ooh, okay, wow, that one just flew out, and I love how it felt right in between the Woodward and the Knight of Bows, because this makes me think of support and balance. It feels like a message coming from your inner being, your higher self, to let you know, or your future self, to let you know that, hey, you've got your back, that you've got this. And it also feels like a message coming from your spirit team, letting you know, hey, we've got you, we've got your back. You have a whole team of spiritual light beings who are here with you, supporting you, looking after you, and providing you with spiritual guidance whenever it is that you need it and request it. But we have the Seer card for what is it that remained the same. And this is the High Priestess in traditional tarot. But now I'm going to pull out some clarifiers. And again, I'm seeing the color scheme here, which is like red, orange, brown. So these colors could be of significance. They make me think of the lower chakras, the root, and the sacral chakra, which are the energy centers that help with keeping us grounded, present, calm, level-headed, and assertive. But now I'm going to pull out some clarifiers. So I'm going to pull out a clarifier for the woodward. Please clarify the woodward for what happened during this full moon, because of this full moon, with the height of this full moon. So I'm noticing that a lot of cards keep falling out at once, together. Okay. And to clarify, we have, wow, the Death card with transition, rebirth. And the message, I release the old and embrace the new. This card has fallen out for every single group in different sections, but it has popped up for every single group. It's the common card. Okay, but now can we please have a clarifier for the Knight of Bows? And we have the Knight of Swords with planning and haste, and the message, I move confidently forward to claim new good. And now I'm going to pull out a clarifier for the Seer. Okay, so two cards flipped over at the same time, and we have Five of Wands with competition, conflict, and the message, claiming dominion, I am calm and confident. And we also have balance, moderation with temperance, and the message, my mind, body, and spirit are in balance. Beautiful. The expression that came to mind when I looked at the word was justice was served. So this full moon, you could have witnessed things falling into place. The word vindicated is coming to mind. You yourself could have felt vindicated. You could have received some kind of validation or confirmation, or something that was long overdue finally came into play during or around the full moon. With the Death card, I do sense that there were endings. You experience endings. It could be plural, or it might have just been one very impactful ending. Yet, whether it were one or many, I feel like this ending was one that you either saw coming or were kind of awaiting. Doesn't mean that you were looking forward to it. It's just that you knew it was bound to happen. Some of you could have even felt or known that it was destined to happen. Because looking at the woodward, I do see someone in a way waiting or just anticipating. And the reason why I also say this is because in the background here we have the hawk. And the hawk is meant to represent a higher perspective. The hawk is able to soar higher than any of the other characters in this deck, giving it the ability to see farther. So I feel like whatever it is that you saw, felt coming, or were awaiting happened during this full moon. This event or this ending ushered in some kind of new beginning. This does feel like the definitive ending of a chapter, because I do get this feeling of closure. Like the Woodward was ready to move on, but they couldn't really move on or move ahead more, like, because they were waiting for this one thing. They were waiting for this ending or for this one event to wrap everything up, to be able to move on, move forward in peace, with grace, or with resolve. I do also sense a lot of you could have experienced some kind of goodbye. I am sensing a farewell. So some of you could have watched or witnessed someone leave. And although for some this goodbye could have been very difficult or bittersweet, it was a goodbye or a farewell that didn't leave any stones unturned. It was a farewell or a goodbye that had closure or brought about closure, or it paid respects to the cyclical nature of things. It honored what once was. The words respect and honor are coming to mind. And didn't produce or incite any regrets. I feel like that's what I meant when I said it didn't leave any stones unturned. Like there are no regrets. And I keep looking at the Woodward, and I notice how the Woodward is holding a vessel, a cup in their hand. And as I'm noticing this, what I hear in my mind is, I raise my cup to you. I raise my cup to those who are leaving, are departing, or have departed. I raise my cup to the past. I raise my cup to that which has ended, or to those who I leave in the past. I raise my cup to that which I release. I hold no resentment, no grudge, nor do I hold any regrets. I move on in peace and with peace of mind. I am vindicated. I am free. And I close this chapter. So it's a very beautiful energy. I can't say that this ending, this release, this farewell was easy for everyone. Yet I do feel like it was handled with grace. And the result of it is or was quite beautiful. Because there's a lot of growth and maturity that came from this. Definitely maturity, because we do have the butterfly here, which to me represents transformation, evolution. So I do feel like you have transitioned, or this ending is kind of the catalyst for some kind of transition, some kind of possibly rebirth, but it feels more like a moving on, a leveling up, a moving forward, as well as a release. I feel like there is something you have released. There is something that you are definitely no longer carrying with you into your next chapter. It's like it's done over with, or you've made your peace with it. You said goodbye to it, and you have no regrets when it comes to it, or nothing more to say about it. All you have for it is either gratitude for it, respect towards it, or a deep understanding for why it happened. But that's pretty much it. There's also this feeling of outgrowing something, as well as maturation. Like I have matured emotionally, mentally, even spiritually, enough to see that it's either time to walk away, or staying here no longer serves me, or I am ready for bigger and greener pastures. I'm ready for something more, something different. Because I am no longer the same person that I was before I discovered this newfound sense of peace, inner balance, because that's what I sense with the Woodward. Also, the Woodward is making me think of someone who who knows their value, knows their worth, who is quite clear as to what they stand for, what they're okay with, what they're not okay with. The Woodward has no problem setting boundaries and saying no, and are standing up for what they believe in. The Woodward also has no trouble walking away. And let me be clear that knowing when to walk away is not the same as clearing yourself of all responsibility or taking no accountability, because the Woodward is all about being responsible and loyal. Yet, remember, loyalty can be a double-edged sword if it lacks discernment and integrity, because the Woodward will stay loyal to their values. They will stay loyal to a cause as long as it aligns with their values. Yet the Woodward won't remain loyal to anything or anyone who goes against what they believe in and know in their heart, and so is not good, it's bad, or it's harmful. The Woodward won't remain loyal just for the sake of being loyal. They prioritize integrity, morality, ethics, justice. So that's just something to keep in mind, because you are coming through as the Woodward. I feel like this is your energy, the energy that you have stepped into or began embodying after this full moon. And moving on to what changed, we have two knights, the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords. Wands are associated with the element of fire. So fire signs, that will be Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo. Air is associated with air signs, which will be Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. And fire has to do with passion, vitality, vigor, creativity. Air has to do with the mind, thought, logic, communication. They're saying intuition as well. That's a word that came to mind. So what I see here is a perfect balance and combination of planning and action. The Knight of Bows, or the Fox, is ingenuitive, crafty. The energy of the Fox just reminded me of the character Jack Sparrow from the franchise Pirates of the Caribbean, because Jack Sparrow was known to be very ingenuitive, as well as out of the box. You never really knew what Jack was thinking. It always seemed like whatever Jack came up with, he came up with on the spot. And it was strange to see him in action, because you would think that he was always 2 steps ahead of everybody else. But at the same time, it felt like he really didn't know what he was doing. He was just going with the flow, because Jack was, or is, a free spirit. Yet with the Knight of Swords, I get a little bit of the opposite. I get more of, I thought of Admiral James, but then Captain Barbossa came to mind, which I think maybe he's a better fit, Captain Barbossa. Because although smart and creative, he was a bit more of a planner. Jack had dreams, but I'm not sure whether he had plans. Barbossa, on the other hand, he had goals and had plans on how to achieve these goals. He was quite cunning. And so I see this beautiful combination where you're allowing both. You're planning when you need to, when you can, and you're sticking to your plans. But you're not letting your plans limit you. You're allowing some flexibility. If inspiration strikes in the moment, you're not ignoring or dismissing said inspiration, you're taking it into consideration. When you feel like the flow is pulling you in a certain direction and it feels good, you're not resisting, you're going with the flow, which is serving you. Because I feel like this nice balance of, kind of releasing control and also being in control, let's say, when you can or when it's needed, is allowing for you to see and discover more than what you have been able to in the past. It's, I don't know why, but I keep being reminded of the Pirates of the Caribbean, because right now what I'm seeing in my mind's eye are ships. on sea. It's like this is allowing for you to broaden your horizons. It's allowing for you to explore. It's opening you up to the world and to possibilities. It's presenting you with more opportunities. And it's also allowing for you to explore and tap into more of your abilities, your skills, your ingenuity, your wit, craftiness. And both of these knights are quite confident. I mean, the Knight of Bows can be very charming, and the Knight of Swords is assertive. The Knight of Swords seizes the moment. They charge in. The Knight of Bows is an adventurer. They're a traveler. They love to travel and to explore and see new places and meet new people. And the Knight of Swords is very sharp and at times can be quite rebellious. They have no trouble fighting for what they believe in and taking what they want at times. They are a soldier, a champion. There's this beautiful duality here that I'm seeing. And I feel like it's serving you and it's imbuing you with so much confidence. It's boosting your self-esteem. And it's really allowing for you to explore more of life and explore life with less restraint is how it's coming through. Because I see you looking at situations, at life, at opportunities with an open mind and a little bit more optimism. This is not to say that you're going about every situation recklessly because you're not thinking about the risks. No, I feel like you're considering the risks if there are any risk factors. It's just that you're not focusing solely on the risks. You're also keeping in mind the positives. Again, I'm seeing a nice balance. And then once weighing out, let's say the negatives, let's call it the negatives, and the positives, that's when you make up your mind whether something is worth it or not. There's this feeling of you're not letting the world tell you what is worth your time, your energy, what is risky and what isn't. You're deciding for yourself. And yes, you're going about things logically, but you're also listening to your gut feelings, your gut instincts. And there is this free spiritedness here where even though you might plan for things, you're still taking it one step at a time. You're still, as mentioned before, allowing yourself to be flexible in that if you need to, if you want to, if you're changing your plans, you have no trouble doing so. And there's something here also about you not being afraid to take pit stops, right? Let's say you're planning a road trip and you're heading to a destination, but on your way, you come across this beautiful national park or this beautiful lake. And instead of just passing it by, because the goal was not to visit this national park or this lake, the goal is to reach the destination, you're choosing to stop to spend some time by the lake or to walk through the national park. You know, it's like it's this feeling of not passing up opportunities, taking life as it comes. Yes, still maybe just sticking to the plan, but also if something pops up, noticing it, it's considering it like, hey, I know I wasn't planning for this, but it just popped up and, you know, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty excited about it, so let's take a look. Let's check it out. And if that leads to something else, and it's kind of you're going with the flow, right? And if you feel like it's leading nowhere good, then you're making a U-turn and you're getting back on track, sticking to your plan. Because also what I get from these two cards is like there's no hard feelings. If something didn't work out or just wasn't what I expected, then fine, okay. It won't be the end of the world because I know there's more out there. Because these two being knights, it makes me think of a very young energy. It also makes me think, seeing that this is a fox and this is a paper airplane, both being a small inanimate object and then a small creature in comparison to the great big world, it makes me think of how the world is so big and how we've being so small in comparison to this big world, we've only seen a little portion of it. And so if something didn't work out, why am I going to get hung up on it if I know for a fact there's more out there. So let's not stop here. Let's continue moving forward, because that's the message here. I move confidently forward to claim you good. So this is, I feel like it's a beautiful energy. It makes me think of a very youthful, invigorating presence, someone who is ready for adventure, someone who, yeah, maybe is starting some kind of adventure. And we did speak about you stepping into like a new chapter. And so I do feel like you're getting ready to get out there once more, maybe to explore. I do feel like a lot of you will be traveling. Maybe you already have plans to travel, or you are making plans. But I feel like in the very near future, there will present opportunities for you to travel, or you are going to feel this desire to travel, visit places, explore, get out of your comfort zone, say yes. You're getting comfortable with saying no, and you're also getting comfortable with saying yes. Like no to anything that crosses your boundaries or does not align with you, and yes to anything that excites you, that makes you feel good, that enlightens you or sparks joy in you. So that's what I see changing. And it could also be that after this full moon, you are going to attract people who are very much like the Knight of Bows and the Knight of Swords, who are also maybe at the start of some kind of journey, or who are also eager to explore, to learn, to meet people, maybe uncover or discover, as well as to create. I am seeing someone who is eager to maybe learn new languages, learn more about different cultures. I keep thinking of the sea, I keep thinking of ships. So I am also seeing a craving for overseas traveling or overseas trips. Maybe some of you are attracting or soon will be coming into alignment with someone who owns a boat, or they know how to sail, or who has sailed across several seas, or who is a foreigner. They are from abroad. But I also feel like you could be making a lot of acquaintances or friendships with people from all over the world. Yeah, it's like you're not limiting yourself. You're not holding yourself back. You're not remaining in one place. A lot of you could be exploring a nomadic lifestyle. That won't be for everybody, but I do see a lot of you getting out of your comfort zone and adventuring a bit. Now I'm being reminded of Bilbo Baggins from The Hobbit. Bilbo was a free spirit, was an adventurer at heart, but over time he kind of got accustomed to the cozy home life and became quite the homebody until Gandalf came knocking on his door and gave him an opportunity to go on an adventure, and that just reignited that adventurous spirit in Bilbo Baggins and reminded him that yes, although he loves his home and loves being at home, he also loves exploring and forming and establishing beautiful bonds of friendship and kinship. And that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. It's like you're at the start of the Hobbit, and adventure just came knocking on your door, and you're like, yep, I'm going on an adventure. Or very soon that could be the energy or the point you will be in your journey. But then we have what has stayed the same, and with the High Priestess, I feel like a lot of you are learning about balance. Both of these nights made me think about balance and duality. The Woodward speaks about balance. The Temperance card speaks about balance. And the High Priestess is often the bridge between the spiritual and the physical world, which all again makes me think of balance, maintaining the balance between both of these realms. And then literally we have the number 2 here, which is a number that speaks of balance. So the number 2 could be of significance, or even numbers could be of importance, as well as the number 11, 13. But what I'm seeing is you are still learning how to maintain the balance and how to maintain inner peace, inner harmony. You are still on a spiritual path, on a spiritual journey. I feel that to be the case for a lot of you. You are still learning to maintain connection with your inner spirit, with the divine, with source. I feel like a lot of you could be at this moment learning learning about your ego, learning about maintaining a balance between the spiritual and the physical. A lot of you who have been on a spiritual journey, you could be learning how to ground your spiritual knowledge into this physical 3D. The message taming the ego just came to mind. I don't adhere to the belief that we came here to destroy or kill the ego. I really don't understand when people talk about an ego death, because I feel like the ego is very much part of the human experience. Without it, I don't think we would have much of a human experience. I don't know, that's just my personal belief. You know, this belief or viewpoint of mine can change later down the road. But if you believe in that, if you subscribe to that kind of belief or thinking, I feel like a lot of you could be on that journey. You could be trying to, in a way, tame the ego, or you could be going through something known as the ego death. Again, if you resonate with that, if that makes sense to you. But I feel like it's more about you learning how to regulate your emotions, perhaps not allow for your emotions to get the best of you. This is not about repressing or suppressing your emotions, but rather about being self-aware, feeling your emotions without letting them get the best of you. I wonder if some of you have been learning how to manage your anger, how to feel through your frustrations in a way that is healthy and productive. I'm sensing a lot of mindfulness techniques. And I also feel a lot of you could be at this moment still learning how to connect with and work with your spiritual psychic abilities. You are strengthening your spiritual psychic abilities. You are strengthening your connection to spirit, to the divine. You are learning how to tap more into energy, read energy, feel energy, work with energy. You are learning about transmutation, how to transmute, shift, cleanse, purify energy. You're connecting with nature, you're connecting with your inner being. A lot of you could be learning shamanic rituals or learning about shamanism. You could be doing energy work, learning about energy healing. But I feel like a lot of you have been on that spiritual journey. And now you are finding your way back into the present. Because I feel like if you were in a spiritual journey, on a spiritual quest, let's say, I feel like you did reach a point where you could have realized that although it's important to connect with your spirit, with energy, being a spirit living a human experience, it is still important to maintain connection with the physical realm, with 3D. So learning to ground, learning to be present in the moment is as important as knowing how to connect with ethereal energy, with spirit. It's making me think of the chakras, right? When we begin a spiritual journey, we kind of immediately want to focus on the higher chakras, the crown chakra, the third eye, because we want to see, we want to receive messages, channel messages, we want to feel connected with source. Yet we forget that activating the lower chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar chakra, is as important as activating the higher chakras. We cannot ground what we see, what we channel, if those lower chakras are not activated, right? That's when it becomes difficult to kind of ground ideas. We get ideas for projects, but then we don't know how to execute them. And it's because those lower chakras aren't activated. It's because we're not grounded. We're not in the present. We're not connected with our current reality, with our physical 3D. So it's important to maintain that connection, to be connected, so that also what we learn, what we receive from like our higher knowledge, our inner wisdom, we can then channel outwards with ease, with calm, with grace. We can then become a channel. We can receive and then we can transmit. And I feel like a lot of you are learning to do that. And I feel like this is also with the purpose of you reaching inner harmony, balance, of you finding stability and feeling stable, right? Because when our higher chakras are overactive and our lower chakras are underactive, out of balance, that is when we could feel out of sorts. We can experience anxiety, irrational fears. It can get pretty confusing. So it's important to activate those lower 3 chakras, which as I'm seeing here, I'm seeing a lot of red. There's a lot more chakras than the 7 main chakras that we all know. But, you know, the chakra that's really standing out to me is the root chakra, which is the first of the 7 main chakras that we know of, or that are well known. And that's the chakra I see you kind of focusing on at this moment. So it's like the chakra that was activated during and or after this full moon. It's the one that you're centering on right now, or that the full moon kind of called you to center and focus on. Like, it's time to ground, it's time to be present, it's time to take action in the here and now, be an active participant in the creation of your own life. It's time to find balance and moderation. The Temperance card is all about moderation, and the Temperance card also makes me think of temperament. I feel like a lot of you have been working on your temperaments. I'm not sure if managing your emotions is the correct way to phrase it, but it's, as mentioned before, focusing maybe on emotional regulation. A lot of you could also be at this moment working on like your nervous system, regulating your nervous system. I'm seeing something like somatic practices, breathwork exercises, mindfulness techniques. So a lot of you could be focusing on that, continuing that. And I love that this is something that has remained the same, because this lets me know that you're continuing a practice that is serving you. Because something that I mentioned in another group, we often seek inner balance and harmony, inner peace. But as I mentioned in the other group, I don't know if inner peace is something that you achieve and then that's that. I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like inner peace is something that we have to maintain. Something constant. It's a constant practice. And I feel like a lot of you have understood that, or you're coming to understand that this is something that you have to continuously practice. That if you want to be at peace, that if you want to feel balance and experience inner balance, you have to continue self-regulating, or you have to continue checking in with yourself. You have to maintain spiritual hygiene. I feel like some of you are learning about that as well, because the wood word is all about like boundaries. So I feel like a lot of you have learned about setting as well as maintaining your boundaries, as well as protecting your energy. You're learning more about yourself, your energy, what triggers you, what sits right with you, what helps you, what works for you. You're learning about how to self-soothe, what helps you ground, what keeps you grounded. You're really taking the time to listen. The seer is all about listening, paying attention, feeling, going within. The seer does not see with their physical eyes. The seer sees with their third eye, their inner eye, their senses, their intuition, their connection with energy, through energy, via energy. And I do feel like a lot of you are learning how to channel. You're learning about different ways in which you can channel information, in which you can receive inner guidance or connect with your inner guidance. Some of you could be working with divination tools, but others of you could be transcending that. You could be, in a way, outgrowing that, where you're realizing that, you do not need divination tools in order to channel messages, receive messages, or connect with your inner guidance, your intuition. Divination tools are just that, a tool, something that helps facilitate the connection, helps ground the messages, but it's not necessary. It's not always needed. But I do feel like a lot of you could be exploring different divination techniques before you get comfortable with just tuning in with yourself, being a vessel or a channel yourself of information, of wisdom. Wow, it's a very beautiful energy. And with the 5 of Wands, which can speak of competition, I feel like a lot of you are releasing a competitive mindset, or you're working on that. This is something I see you working on. If you tend to compare yourself, I feel like that's something you're also working on releasing. Because the more you connect with your inner being, the more you feel connected with source, you realize that there's no need to compete. Competing, comparison, and separation are all just an illusion. And this is what you're reaching. You're reaching a balance between your mind, body, and spirit or soul. Developing a connection with your inner being, with all that is. Yeah, I feel like a lot of you are on some kind of spiritual journey, or very soon you will be. So this is quite beautiful to see. But now I'm going to pull out some extra oracle cards to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance. You're also learning about letting go, as mentioned before. right? Because with the chess pieces, it's making me think of a chess game and of kind of planning every move or pre-planning every move. And I feel like you're finding a nice balance between that, as mentioned before, or you're working on that, working on understanding that you don't always need to be in full control. Sometimes you just have to let go, and that there will be unknowns. And at times you just have to trust the process, or at times you maybe have to wait it out. You have to wait until an opportunity presents itself to you, or until it's the right time, until you feel it's the right time to make a move. Not everything requires a fast response or an instant reaction. Some things do require of your patience. But let me see. Oh, and we have beauty with a swan glides into view, the key term Libra, and the message, what does beauty mean to you? Does it evoke wonder, peace, joy, meaning, or something else? How much does the pursuit of beauty guide your actions? Ask yourself whether your unique perspective on beauty is benefiting or hindering you. So again, Libra, the zodiac sign Libra could be of significance. Swans could be an important symbol sign. Swans make me think of beauty and grace, which is the energy I was getting from the Woodward and the Seer. You're coming through as quite majestic. It's like you're claiming or you're accepting that you're a soul, you're a spirit, living a human experience. You're claiming, you're acknowledging your inner beauty, your inner and your outer beauty. Yeah, and with the message, ask yourself whether your unique perspective on beauty is benefiting or hindering you. I feel like this is speaking about perspective in general. I feel, as mentioned before, I feel like there has been some kind of reprogramming. You are shifting or changing your narrative. You're changing your perspectives to allow more flexibility, to allow a little bit more freedom. Yeah, you're seeing things from a different perspective, which is allowing you release, transformation, and growth. But we have Paul Gauguin with the message, go far to go far, exaggerate the subtle, share the unseen, only an outsider sees inward. Wow, I feel like every single message here kind of aligns with some of the cards in your spread. Only an outsider sees inward made me think of the Seer. Go far to go far made me think of the Knight of Bows and the Knight of Swords. And share the unseen also made me think of the Seer. And you're seeing things from a higher perspective. Some of you could also be learning how to ground because you are intending to share your knowledge or wisdom with others. You are intending to maybe be a channeler perhaps, or serve as a bridge between the physical realm and the spirit realm. And only an outsider sees inward makes me think of appreciating the differences in the world. Appreciating and acknowledging that everyone serves a purpose. No one is without purpose. And we all have something beautiful to offer. And it's important sometimes to detach from situations, possibly even like emotionally detach, even for just a while, to get a higher perspective on it. Because when we're wrapped up in something, right, when we're so emotionally invested, we can end up having a biased perspective that blinds us to the truth, that messes with our judgment and our discernment. Go far to go far makes me think of traveling. It makes me think of adventuring, an adventurous soul. It's like I'm traveling to see the world. I'm traveling to expand my views on the world. I'm traveling to learn more. And I don't just want to know more about this earth. I also want to know about the universe, the galaxy, our galaxy. I want to know what is out there. There's this feeling of I don't want to remain close-minded. I want to learn. I want to expand. I want to grow. It was giving this opportunity to do so, and I want to do so. At least that's the vibe I'm getting from some of you. Okay, but let's see. Things I want to point out. Monarch butterflies, swans, lynx, foxes, lions or canines could be of significance. Paper airplanes, the game chess pieces, or checkboard patterns could be of significance as well. The color red, the color orange, and the color yellow. The 3 lower chakras, especially the root chakra and the sacral chakra is coming through. Libra, Cancer, as well as Scorpio and Sagittarius. The third eye, the inner eye, could be of significance, as well as extraterrestrial beings, starseeds, aliens, could be of significance as well. Also the Caribbean, because I kept thinking of the Pirates of the Caribbean. The Caribbean, an island, the sea, the ocean could be of significance as well, or foreign traveling. As well as hawks, I forgot to mention hawks. I'm also seeing owls and leopards. Palm trees could also be of significance. Or anywhere where there's a lot of palm trees. I'm thinking of California for some reason. Although those iconic palm trees are not native to California, but yeah, California came to mind. But these are all the messages coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance and clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you are new to this channel and you wish to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website. And the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching until the very end. And a huge thank you to all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them play in the background, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this growing channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to my spirit team and your spirit guides, as well as your higher self and the energy of the full moon, for assisting me with delivering these messages to you. And I'm wishing you and your loved ones a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you're watching. And until the next moment, bye bye. Hello, bienvenidos to your reading. So when connecting with the energy of this group, I experienced a lot of physical sensations or symptoms. First, I experienced a bit of a headache or a tightness in my temples. I also experienced dizziness, and there was also a moment in which I felt almost on the verge of crying or sobbing, more like. So this full moon, your physical and your emotional body could have went through some kind of detox and cleared out a lot of gunk, muck, stagnant energies or emotions. And there could have been symptoms from this, like headaches, migraines, dizziness, fatigue, possibly even nausea for some. Now, I'm not saying that if you did experience these symptoms, it was 100% due to some kind of physical or emotional detox or purging, because these could have been the symptoms of something entirely different. So if you're still experiencing any of these symptoms and you're wondering why, and you haven't consulted a medical professional or a healer, then please do so. But I do feel like this full moon, there was a lot of clearing out. How it's coming through for me is that there could have even been a clearing out of sicknesses, ailments, chemicals, infections, or even residue that had been stored or held in the body, which was preventing either healing or was interfering with the natural balance or flow of your body's inner ecosystem. So I wonder if during or near the full moon you felt a little under the weather, or you found yourself recovering from a physical ailment or even a burnout. Because I do feel like your physical body did release and detox during the full moon and even an eclipse season, because the word eclipse came to mind out of the blue. But now I'm going to move on to the cards. So I will first draw out a tarot card to find out what did happen, what went down during this full moon. What happened because of, or with the help of, the full moon energy. Oh, and this card fell out for group 3, I believe, but it fell out in the reverse and for a different question or section. But we have the 7 of Vessels with Mourning, and this is the 7 of Cups. And now I'm just going to draw out a card to find out what changed during this full moon, or because of, or with the help of this full moon energy. You might, during this full moon, you might have found yourself drinking a lot of water or needing to hydrate a bit more than you normally do. Or if you hadn't been hydrating yourself enough or well enough, that could have been brought to your attention during this full moon. But interesting, we have the mirror, which is the Hanged Man. And I say interesting because we have this siren literally holding a full moon like if it were a crystal ball. So there was definitely a lot of healing that occurred during this full moon. And I feel like a lot of you could have actively worked with the full moon to bring forth healing. And now I'm going to draw out a card to find out what stayed the same. Ooh, and we have the Wheel, which is the Wheel of Fortune in traditional tarot. And now I'm just going to pull out a clarifier for each card. All of a sudden, I felt called to let you guys know that you are on the right path. So let me see, a clarifier for the Seven of Vessels, please. Okay, so two cards fell out together, and we have the Page of Swords with will and energy, and the message, I am free, I am unlimited, as well as the Nine of Swords with hardship and suffering, and the message, I release fear and embrace love. Ooh, I like that. And then I'm going to pull out the clarifier for the Mirror, aka the Hanged Man. Clarifier for the Hanged Man, please. Okay, so let me try one more time. There's like too many cards. Clarifier for the Hanged Man. And we have the Two of Pentacles with balance and change, as well as prosperity. And the message, I use my gifts to direct my life. Lovely. And now clarifier for the Wheel, please. Okay, two cards fell out together, and we have I have more than enough with the Four of Pentacles, prosperity, and the key terms thrift and avarice, as well as the Death card with transition, rebirth, and release, and the message, I release the old and embrace the new. So two of the cards that fell out for you, which are the Seven of Vessels and the Death card, also fell out for group 3. Just mentioning it in case you were also drawn to group 3. Maybe there's some messages meant for you to hear in that reading as well. But it's interesting how both of the clarifiers are associated with the element of air, which is associated with the mind, thoughts, logic, communication. Because in the morning card, we have a skull. And the symbol carved on the skull reminds me of the zodiac sign Aquarius, which is an air sign. So during this full moon, you could have faced or experienced some uncertainty, doubt, hesitation. You could have felt like either you didn't have a lot of options, or the options that you did have were not looking so great. You could have felt like your prospects weren't looking so great, in other words. Because I am noticing that all of the vessels in the morning card are empty. And so I think during this full moon, you got an opportunity to self-reflect and really assess your situation, your current options, and found that maybe you weren't very happy with what was being offered to you or what was available to you. Or what else I'm seeing is, if you've been pretty busy lately, if you've been on the go, if you've been focusing on work, on school, on responsibilities, maybe there wasn't enough time for you to just sit down, self-reflect, and really consider how it is that you were feeling about your situation. Really tune in with your inner world and with your inner feelings. And if so, I feel like what this full moon did was to either slow things down enough for you to slow down, or it slowed you down to the point where you found yourself sitting with your thoughts and with your feelings. And that's when you could have become aware of how you've actually been feeling. Or what else I'm seeing is, if you are someone who keeps yourself busy in order to not think, to not get lost in thoughts. So in other words, you keep yourself busy to avoid being in your head. And if that resonates with you, if that is your case, I feel like this full moon, it was like there was no escaping being in your head, being with yourself is more like what is coming through, because we do have the mirror card here. And that ultimately led to you looking at your thoughts and, most importantly, addressing your fears and your worries, your concerns. Because I feel like for some, you have been avoiding exactly that. You have been avoiding addressing how you truly feel, as well as running away from your fears, your concerns, and your worries. And this full moon really made it so that you had nowhere to run from that which you have been running away from or avoiding up until this point. And so this full moon could have been pretty intense for a lot of you, because I do see some of you either mourning or grieving what in your perspective might have been a loss of time or missed opportunities. There could have been a lot of speculating of what could have been, because I am sensing sadness, but I'm also sensing a little bit of apathy, a disconnect. So you could have felt emotionally disconnected from your current reality or current situation. There was just a lot of thinking. And I feel like this was important, it was needed, because it was only through you slowing down and facing that which you have been avoiding that you would be able to release it. Free yourself of the fears that have been chasing you. up until this point. Because remember, avoiding something doesn't make it go away. And making as if we don't have concerns and or fears, it is not a form of helping or uplifting yourself, but rather silencing yourself. Because we all have fears, worries, and concerns. And although some of the fears that we may have are irrational, a lot of them are valid. And acknowledging them, I think, is important if we are seeking to better understand ourselves and also understand what is important to us, what matters to us. Because oftentimes our fears are correlated with that which we care about. It gives us clarity about our attachments. We fear losing something because we've grown attached to it. So I feel like this full moon helped with you facing your insecurities, your worries, your fears, your doubts, so you wouldn't fear and run away from them anymore. And so when it is said that you're releasing fear in order to embrace love, which is the message that is on the Nine of Swords, I think it's more so about releasing the fear of fear, releasing the fear around having worries and concerns, rather than like releasing, let's say, the worries or the concerns. It's like holding space for both. I know that's very strange, but it's like realizing that you can hold space for what scares you while also holding space for optimism and positivity. Because I'm thinking of love as light, and I'm thinking of like these concerns and worries and insecurities as the shadow, the darkness. And you're being let know you can embrace both. You can hold space for both. And it's like you're being recommended to do so, because then you can shine light into the darkness. Then you can embrace your fears, your worries, your concerns, your insecurities with love instead of with shame or anger or even more fear. So it's kind of like releasing the fear of darkness. And I think there's power in that. There's freedom in that, knowing that, hey, you can feel all of these things, you can have these concerns, and still be in your power. Still hold light. You can still breathe and live and continue moving forward. And you know what is being shown in my mind is someone standing on a seashore and a wave washes over them. But once this wave recedes, they find that they're still standing on the seashore. The wave didn't wash them away into the sea. No, they're still on the seashore. And so it's like, oh, okay, this wave can wash over me and I can still be okay. A little drenched and startled, but okay. And my camera overheated, so it stopped recording. So I completely lost where I was at. But right now, looking at the cards, what came through when seeing the word suffering is a lot of you are realizing that you don't have to suffer because of worries, concerns, doubts, or insecurities. I'm being reminded of the character Newt Scamander, who said, worrying means you suffer twice. I don't know why I'm talking about Newt now, but I think it's a perfect example, even though it's a fictional character. But you know, oftentimes fictional characters are inspired by real experiences and real thoughts and feelings and people. So maybe there are worries, but you choose not to let them extinguish your fire, your inner fire, or suck the joy out of you, out of your life, out of an experience. You let them live and you let them exist, but you don't give them the power to overtake you. Oh, I was talking about a wave, right? So it's like, yes, this worry can wash over you just like a wave can wash over you, but that doesn't mean that just because it washed over you, it has to sweep you away. Because you have it in you to stand firm in your belief of yourself, in your belief of something good. you have the choice to also believe in a positive outcome, believe in solutions, believe in the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, yes, there are multiple possibilities, and not all of them are bad or negative or of low quality. There are some really good options out there. And if there aren't right now, I know I can create them, because the world is so vast and energy is infinite. And I am a creator. And so that could be your new mindset, your new mentality. And I feel like it has become your new mindset, whether you are keenly aware of it or not. Because I do feel like you have a new relationship with, let's call them your inner demons, with your shadow, with your insecurities, with your fears, your concerns. You don't see them or address them the same way that you did before this full moon. There was something that came through at the beginning when I was delivering the intuitively channeled messages, which was the expression or the message clearing the mind. And I forgot about it because I got so caught up on the physical body and what I was experiencing in my physical body. But now that I look at these cards, I do feel like there was a clearing of the mind. It's like you freed your mind through giving yourself access to those parts of your mind that you've kind of sheltered yourself from, right? Because imagine a house. I'm thinking of the mental palace. If you're living in this big house, but there's a certain section of the house that you're not allowed to go to, that is kind of in a way secluded from the rest of the house, because the doors in that section are always locked, they're always closed, the windows are shut, the curtains or the blinds drawn, then the house itself is not completely free because it's being restricted, and you're not free to roam around that house that you own because there is a restricted area. There are limitations, right? You are fearing certain sections of your own house, of your own home. But if you give yourself access to those spaces and you allow yourself to start exploring those spaces with love, then your home is no longer just a section of the house. It's the entire property. And there's no longer restrictions. You're allowed to roam freely in your own home. And your home is allowed to breathe. Light is allowed to come in to those areas which were restricted areas at some point. There's a lot more freedom. And so I'm seeing your mind as being this house, and it's like your mind is now allowed to breathe. Like, I don't have to think positive all of the time. I can have these moments of doubt, and it's okay because I won't be shamed, punished, or shut down for it. I can express myself. It's like allowing your mind to express itself without worrying about repercussions, because you, as the inhabitor of your mind, know or are coming to know that you have the ability to discern and to choose what to focus on, what to give attention and priority to. You can listen to the concerns and the ideas of your mind, but that doesn't mean that you have to believe everything that your mind tells you. Because what I see has changed is you taking time to go within. The mirror is all about going within. It's about self-reflecting, self-assessing. The mirror represents your intuition, your inner guidance, your higher self, right? The siren here is holding a gilded mirror towards her chest, her heart space, which is something we spoke about before, right? Also addressing your feelings, how you feel about certain things, and not running away from the uncomfortable feelings or the feelings that bring about discomfort, or running away from discomfort. It's acknowledging the light and the dark, or what you perceive to be the dark, so that you can gain clarity, so that you can understand yourself better, so that you can direct yourself direct your life. I love how we have the Two of Pentacles here, because the Two of Pentacles can speak of decisions, right? And then the message, I use my gifts to direct my life. I feel like this is talking about your gift of discernment, your gift of intuition, your gift of awareness. I am aware of my thoughts. I am aware of my feelings. And I am aware that I can discern. I can choose. I can make up my mind, formulate my own thoughts, formulate my own opinions. I can see, I can sense, I can choose. So a lot of you are recognizing that you do have free will. But most importantly, you are recognizing that you have it in you to discern what is right for you, what is good for you. And what has changed after this full moon is that you are taking your time to go within before making any decision, right? Before acting upon anything, before running away with a thought. Let's say you're taking the time to go within, to self-assess, to introspect, to ask yourself, is it really necessary for me to concern myself about this right now? Is this important? Is this helpful? Is this what I truly want? How do I truly feel about this? Why am I worried about this? Is this fear rational or irrational? Am I catastrophizing, or am I being logical? Am I being level-headed? Am I allowing for my emotions to get the best of me? Or am I listening to my intuition? What is going on? Because I feel like in the past, there could have been a lot of catastrophizing. There could have been a lot of emotionally reacting, letting your thoughts get the best of you. Some of you could have even struggled with the black and white mentality. Like it's either this or it's that, but there's no in between. You know, always leaning to some kind of extreme. And I feel like after this full moon, there's been more balance. And I feel like a lot of you have become more okay with pausing, slowing down. Like, whoa, before I allow my emotions to get the best of me, I want to address what is coming up for me. If I'm all of a sudden feeling anxious, I don't want to just let my mind run away with that feeling and start catastrophizing for me in order to validate my anxiety. I want to know why it is that I'm feeling anxious. Like, what's really going on? Why am I reacting in this way? And how can I respond in order to validate what I am feeling? And also remain in control or management of myself, of my emotional state, of my thoughts, of my mind, of my decisions, of my actions. Right? So there's a lot more balance here. It's like taking a moment to ground, taking a moment to assess, and possibly even change your perspective, because the mirror or the hangman is all about perspective. And so sometimes all we need in order to shift our experience is to shift our perspective or perception. And I feel like a lot of you are coming to realize that you have that power and you have that ability, which can drastically change things for you, which can improve things for you drastically. And after this full moon, a lot of you have realized that you are an intuitive being, that you do hold inner wisdom, that you know more than you think you do, or that you give yourself credit for at times. And so when in doubt, you can go within, you can ask yourself for the answers. You can go within to find clarity. And so when it says that you're using your gifts to direct your life, I feel like this is about you using your gift of intuition. I feel like a lot of you are getting more comfortable with listening to your intuition, connecting with your inner wisdom. You're getting comfortable with working with yourself. The word assessing keeps coming to mind. I feel like For a lot of you, it's about self-assessing. Yes, introspecting and self-reflecting, but most importantly, assessing your situation, assessing your feelings, assessing your thoughts, instead of just getting carried away by them. You're assessing in order to discern what is best for you, what is the most helpful to you, and to better understand yourself, to better understand what triggers you, what fulfills you, what intimidates you, what scares you, and what challenges you. So I feel like this is a beautiful energy because it's like you're claiming back your power in a way, and you are connecting more with your inner self. And you are trusting in yourself a lot more, because maybe for a lot of you, there was a lack of self-trust. And there being a siren in the mirror card, this lets me know that you're becoming more comfortable with going with it, diving deep. You're not running away from your feelings anymore, nor are you running away from, let's say, so-called darkness, because the siren dives deep into the depths of the sea. So you're using all of your abilities, all of your senses to have a better understanding, not only of yourself, but also of the world around you and how you relate or connect with it. But most importantly, I feel like this is about you not feeling at a loss of control when it comes to your inner world, when it comes to your emotions, when it comes to your thoughts. Like, no, you're finding balance. You're realizing that you can maintain balance, that you can maintain equilibrium. And you're realizing that it is something that you have to maintain, that you have to constantly be maintaining. I don't know if inner balance is something that we achieve once and then we don't have to worry about it anymore. I mean, it could be, but that's not the way that I perceive it. I feel like inner balance is something that we always have to be kind of in the present moment to maintain. It's a daily practice. So this is beautiful because the mirror here is letting me know that there's less fear. There's less fear of your fears. And when it comes to what stayed the same, we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is a card that often speaks of fate. Though this card in specific always makes me think of destiny. And so seeing that we have the Four of Pentacles, which can speak about holding on, and then the Death card, which is a card that speaks of release and endings, as well as transformation, this is letting me know that you're getting comfortable with letting go. I feel like you're still kind of working on this, on like letting go of that which needs to be released, but you're getting more and more comfortable with it. You're getting more comfortable with endings and transitions, with change, which is what the Wheel card is all about, because it's the 10th major arcana of the deck, the number 10 indicating endings, and the wheel indicating change. Why this Wheel card in specific always reminds me of destiny is because the illustration kind of depicts your hand, your involvement in the creation of your reality. You're the weaver, and you get to weave your destiny. And so you're coming to realize that, yes, maybe there are some things that are out of your control, but still, even in those situations where something is out of your control, you could still choose how to respond to those situations. And I feel like everything we have spoken about, it's about response, how you respond to your thoughts, how you respond to your feelings, how you respond to external circumstances. And so I feel like the Four of Pentacles is kind of indicating that which is out of your control. Sometimes things are removed from our lives before we are ready to release them, before we are ready to say goodbye or let go of them or move on from them. And so because we're not ready to let go, we might find ourselves holding on. And so I feel like you're still kind of, discerning between what is in your control versus what is not. And you're learning to release control when it is needed so that transformation could occur. You're getting more comfortable with endings. I feel like in the past, change, endings could have intimidated you quite a bit. Or maybe it was the very thing that you worried about or that you ran away from, did your best to avoid, because it could have been very uncomfortable to you. Endings could have felt like rejection, or they could have felt like failure. But I feel like what you're coming to learn is that endings are not a sign of rejection and they're not a sign of failure. Endings are just a cycle closing. Endings are just a season coming to an end to give way to a new season. It's part of the natural course of things. It's part of life. Without endings, there could be no beginnings. Life is cyclical. Nature is cyclical. It's part of the order of this reality. Because without endings, there would be no rebirth, regeneration. There would be no time for rest, for pause, for introspection. Resources would be depleted. So you are getting more comfortable with letting go, with releasing, with accepting change, welcoming change. I feel like you might still struggle. There could still be a little bit of resistance, because I am seeing now with the Four of Pentacles, you could still find yourself holding on to things that are ready to move on or be let go of. You could still find yourself staying in places that you have outgrown, because you're still getting comfortable with change and beginnings, and possibly even the idea of starting over or starting somewhere new. But I feel like it's something that you are either getting more and more used to, or getting, I keep using the word, but like getting more comfortable with it, becoming more accepting of it, seeing it as part of the natural course of things instead of something offensive, diminishing, or belittling of you perhaps, or of your journey. Because I feel like in the past, or maybe still, you could perceive endings and change or transitions as insulting. Like it insults your effort, your dedication to something. Like, I've put so much work on this, I put so much time, and then there it ended. Now I need to let go of it. Now I need to release it. Then what was the point? But I feel like what's happening is that now you're realizing that it coming to an end, or it's reaching its conclusion, simply means that you've completed something, that you saw something through. It's not that you failed, or it's not that it was cut too short or too early. It's simply that it's like a film. It reached its ending. And so everything that you needed to do when it comes to that very thing, you did it. You accomplished it. You achieved it. You holding on to something that already reached its end wouldn't achieve anything more than what it already achieved. And that's why oftentimes when we find ourselves holding on to something that we already know has reached its end, we find ourselves repeating the same thing. We find ourselves in some kind of loop, or we find ourselves feeling kind of stuck or stagnant, because whatever it is that reached its end already achieved what it needed to achieve. So you are embracing the cyclical nature of things, of life, and getting more comfortable with endings, change, shift, transitions, and transformation as well. And I also see some of you moving into this outlook of, if it came to an end, it's because it reached its end. It's not because I'm being denied something, or because something is being taken from me. So something being removed from my life doesn't mean that I have less. It just means that what I have currently in my life has become the more richer, the more fuller. Because this expression here, this statement, I have more than enough, is really standing out to me. So some of you could be shifting from a lack mindset to a maybe an abundant one. But now I want to pull out some oracle cards to get any more messages, advice, and or guidance. Maybe a look or a hint as to what it is that you can focus on, self-reflect or introspect on to obtain more inner clarity, receive guidance. Ooh, balance again. The energy of balance. I noticed that there's a lot of messages or symbolism of balance in your spread. I mean, we literally have the word balance here. And then in the wheel card, the moon and the sun show up, which makes me think of balance as well. But we have Libra with wisdom, the key phrase, a checkered pattern, and the message, nothing is black and white. Find balance between extremes. To find mental equilibrium, try writing down your thoughts, meditating, exercising, or talking to a friend. Assess your daily routines to decide if you need to introduce more balance. Yeah, you're achieving inner balance, inner equilibrium. And not only achieving it, but you're working to maintain it. Because balance is something that we maintain, not just achieve. Yeah, and you're definitely leaning away from extremes. I think that was the point of you given a moment to really face your fears so that you can realize that your fears don't have to take you to any kind of extreme. You can stand firm, tall and proud in the face of fears, insecurities, and worries. The wave of your emotions can wash over you, but it doesn't have to wash you away into the sea. Okay, but I also want to pull out one more card from a different deck. And I'm not going to give any kind of interpretation. I'm just going to read the message on the card and offer you a moment to, if you'd like, sit with the message, meditate on it, to see what comes up for you. Okay. And we have Joseph Beuys with, you also contribute to humanity's Gesamtkunstwerk. Make sure your rabies shot are up to date. Symbolism is just one ambulance right away. I always find it quite interesting what comes up for me when I meditate on the cards of this deck, or when I allow myself to interpret the messages on the cards, because they're quite interesting. They're quite peculiar. Okay, but let's see. Things I want to point out: the zodiac sign Libra, Pisces, Scorpio, and Aquarius could be of significance. Also, monarch butterflies, mirrors, hand mirrors, gilded mirrors, full moons, wheels, tapestries, and piggy banks or skulls, and checkered patterns could be of significance. They could be an important sign or omen, good omen. And hares, rabbits, and wolves or canines, as well as herons and butterflies, especially monarch butterflies, could be important animals, maybe spirit animals, power animals of yours. Some of you could have been born in the year of the rabbit, the year of the dog, the year of the pig, or the year of the dragon. And if so, this could be serving as a confirmation of sorts if you needed it, if you were asking for it. The latter here is really standing out to me. So something that wants to be let known to you is that you are ascending. As mentioned before, you are on the right path. You are doing well. You are progressing. You are growing beautifully. So keep on going, trusting yourself. You're guiding yourself in the right direction so you can trust in yourself, trust in your intuition. You have come really far. You have grown so much. You have matured so much. And you're doing well. Your spirit team, your higher self, your inner being is so very, very proud of you and so thankful to you for taking the time to heal or to understand yourself better, to give yourself a chance to feel your feels and address your inner demons and work with yourself. instead of against yourself. And you are also being let known that when it comes to your career, your profession, line of work, when it comes to your finances, there will be more growth, there will be more development, more ascending. So you could be ascending in your career, or this is an indicator, a sign that you are ascending in your career, or you're being let known that you could, right? Because I feel like your theme, your lesson in this life is to embrace transformation. I feel like you are someone who is constantly, like everyone is, but I feel like in your case, if you feel like you experience a lot of endings, it is because you are meant to experience a lot of transformations in this lifetime. You are someone who is always evolving, or your soul is always seeking to evolve, to grow, to learn. You could be someone who craves stimulation, especially intellectual stimulation. You could be someone who's always seeking to learn something new, challenge yourself in a healthy and productive way. And if so, it is because you are drawn to growth. You crave evolution, you crave change. Even if you might resist it at times, you do crave it. And it's more than change, it's evolution. I feel like evolution is what your soul seeks, and evolution comes through change and transformation. And so this lifetime is about embracing that, not running away from it, being okay with stepping out of the old to step into the new, as well as realizing when you have outgrown something, when you have outgrown an environment, a relationship, or a relationship dynamic, or it could even be something like a field of study, a line of work, a subject, a topic, an interest. It's okay for you to outgrow things. It's okay for you to want to expand upon things, or for you to want to branch out. There's nothing wrong with that. As well as to want to dive deeper, further, or deepen your knowledge. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I mean, you're being represented as the monarch butterfly, which is known to migrate, right? The monarch butterfly doesn't remain in one place. And the monarch butterfly, it transformed from a caterpillar into a butterfly. And to do so, it went through many stages of change. So it's part of your nature to constantly be changing and evolving and growing, or experiencing change. So don't fear that which is so innately a part of you and your journey, when you can embrace it and work with it and grow immensely through it and find so much power in it as well. Okay, but these are all the messages coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance and clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you are new to this channel and you wish to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. To all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them play in the background, thank you so much for that, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this growing channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to my spirit team and your spirit guides, as well as your higher self and any other being of light that came through, as well as the energy of the full moon, for assisting me with delivering these messages to you. And I'm wishing you a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you are watching. And until the next moment, bye bye. Hello, if you were drawn to group 3, bienvenidos to your reading. So when meditating on the energy of this group, I saw in my mind's eye the image of a regal figure sitting on their throne. There was a moment of confusion on my part because I wasn't sure whether this regal figure was a feminine deity, empress, or queen, and I'm still not sure. All I know is that they were regal, majestic, and breathtaking. So I wonder if a lot of you worked with this full moon to connect with either your inner feminine, or mother energy, or if you worked with a female deity alongside this full moon to release any energies, mentalities, programmings, or heal possibly generational wounds that were disempowering your inner feminine or stunting it. But it's interesting how you were drawn to the moon with the colors blue and pink, because these are the colors that are often associated with masculine and feminine. So I feel a lot of you have been working on healing both your inner feminine and masculine energies as well as merging them. In other words, you have been working on reaching and maintaining inner balance, inner harmony. But now I'm going to move on to the cards. So first, I'm going to draw out some cards to find out what transpired in your life because of this full moon, or with the help of this full moon's energy. What happened during and or around this full moon? In other words, and the card that flipped over is the Knight of Vessels with Eel, and this is the Knight of Cups. And now I'm going to draw out a card to find out what changed during this full moon. And we have the Seven of Vessels with Mourning and the reversal, and this is the Seven of Cups. And then I'm going to pull out a card to find out what stayed the same. And we have the Eight of Vessels with Rebirth, and this is the Eight of Cups. So all water here. Vessels are associated with the element of water. And water is often associated or connected with feminine energy, as well as with emotions, intuition, spirituality. Interesting. So now I'm going to draw out some clarifiers for each card. So can we please clarify the Knight of Vessels? What happened due to this full moon? Those are way too many cards. One clarifier, please. Oh, okay. So those were too many cards that fell out at once. Still, there's so many cards falling out at once, so it seems like a lot went down because of this full moon, or with the help of this full moon. So we have the Four of Swords with recuperation, rest, and the message, Spirit within is my all-powerful healer. And now a card to clarify the Seven of Vessels, please. So two cards. And we have the Three of Cups with celebration and friendship, and the message, my heart is filled with joy. As well as the Emperor with virility, structure, the key term will, and the message, I connect with the divine masculine within me. Interesting. And now a clarifier for the Eight of Vessels, please. Okay, it's too many cards. Too many cards again. Let's shuffle one more time. I will say I do feel a bit spacey, so I wonder if you were feeling a bit spacey or disconnected, maybe from your reality, from your environment, from the people around you, maybe even from yourself throughout, during, or around the full moon. But we have the Devil card with desire, excess, the key term bondage, and the message, I break free from the illusion of limitation. As well as, wow, the Death card with transition, rebirth, the key term release, and the message, I release the old and embrace the new. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so what happened because or with the help of this full moon? Yeah, the Knight of Cups is known to be the daydreamer. the romantic. And the Knight of Cups is also known to be quite creative, intuitive, even psychic. So now I understand why I have been a bit spacey throughout your reading, because you're coming through as the Knight of Cups. And I just had to close my window. I had it open because it's very hot right now where I'm at, and I don't have any AC, so I didn't want for it to get stuffy. But I had to close the window because the noises coming from outside were just very distracting. So something else I'm getting is during or around this full moon, you could have been easily distracted. It might have been difficult for you to focus or even to think. You could have also found yourself getting overstimulated or overwhelmed fairly quickly. Yeah, there's something about noise, sounds being quite distracting. So I wonder if it was pretty noisy where you were at or during the time of the full moon, or maybe it was pretty peaceful and quiet, and because the silence was just so prevalent, anything that disturbed it stood out like a sore thumb. But I am finding it very difficult to stay on track, to stay focused, and to even speak because I keep losing my train of thought. And so with the Four of Swords serving as a clarifier, which is a card that often speaks of, as the card says, rest, especially mental rest. I wonder if you are someone who overthinks, ruminates, or gets caught up in their head. Or if lately there has been a lot on your mind. You have been mulling something over to the point where you burned out from overworking your mind so much. Because I do feel that could have been the case for a lot of you, which is why during this full moon, it's like your mind took a break, or your mind in a way shut down just for a while so that it could. The word recalibrate came to mind, but what I was thinking was something more along the lines of rest, sleep. And it's very cute how in the illustration we literally have an owl sleeping. So something else that is coming to mind is maybe before the full moon, you were having trouble falling or staying asleep, or your sleep schedule might have gotten disturbed or impaired is the word that came to mind. And that could have also messed with the quality of your sleep and your focus. Because, for example, if you weren't well rested, then you could have found it a little bit more difficult to focus, concentrate, and be present. And so if any of this resonates with you, I feel like this full moon highlighted the fact that rest was needed, because either you weren't getting enough sleep or good quality sleep, or your mind was experiencing fatigue. It was burnt out. So this might sound strange, but it almost feels like for a brief moment, you were disconnected from your mind. So you might have found it difficult to be in your head or to think clearly, because what spirit wanted, or your spirit wanted, was for you to disconnect from thought and connect with your inner guidance, with your intuition. Get out of your head to get into your heart. I also feel like the reason why you could have been quite spacey if that was your case is because you were experiencing major downloads during this time. It makes me think of how computers need to reboot in order to go through some software updates. And while they're rebooting, we can't use the computer. The computer is left on standby. And that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. It's like you were going through some kind of reboot. And because you were going through this reboot, during that time you were meant to be resting. Not processing, not working, not producing, but resting. Because you were receiving downloads and possibly even going through some upgrades. Yeah, maybe that's why the word recalibration came to mind, because it does feel like you were recalibrating in a way. It feels like, I apologize for using computer as an analogy, but that's what they're showing me. It's like a computer was overheating, and because it was overheating, it needed to be shut down for a little while so it could cool, or it needed to be placed on standby, or because it needed some updates, it needed to be left on standby to get updated, or because it was running out of battery, it needed to be placed on standby so that it could be charged. And so if you were feeling pretty sleepy, tired, spacey, dreamy, even if all you wanted to do was space out or fall into a beautiful daydream, then it was for a reason. This was happening as a way to get you to slow down so that you wouldn't either overwork yourself or burn yourself out while you were receiving these downloads, or so that you could rest to heal from any kind of burnout that you were already experiencing. Because I do feel like some of you could have been in a way overheating, maybe without you even realizing it. Meaning you could have been experiencing a burnout without you being none the wiser of it. Or maybe you were already experiencing the symptoms or the effects of this burnout, but instead of slowing down, you just kept on going, kept on moving. And what this full moon did is stop you in a way, because now I'm seeing everything freezing in place. I feel like this full moon created a much needed pause so that you could recover, in other words, and so that you could receive downloads, receive information, because the owl often makes me think of knowledge, information, data, as well as integrate possibly previous downloads. And this also makes me think of the word sedation, because I feel like I'm giving like weird examples, but during a surgical removal, people are sedated so that whatever needs to be removed will be removed without pain and complications, right? At least that's the goal. And that's kind of what I'm feeling here, because full moons are here to help us release, clear out, and extract anything that does not serve us, is not of us, and no longer belongs in our energy field. And so I feel like what this full moon did is infused you with this dreamy, spacey energy so that you could slow down and ease up enough for you to release that which you needed to release. Because sometimes when we are overactive, when we are too much up in our heads, instead of allowing, we can end up resisting letting go of that which we need to let go of. And an example of how we can resist is, let's say we need to walk away from a situation. And we feel that it's time to walk away from a situation. And instead of going along with that feeling or listening to our inner guidance, we start overthinking. We get caught up in our heads. Is it really time to walk away? But what if I walk away and this happens? Or what if I stay a little longer? What if I give myself another 2 or 3 months? Yeah, another 2 or 3 months I think will be okay. I don't think I need to walk away right now. No, I don't think it's a good idea to walk away. What if I don't find anything better than this? What if this is as good as it's going to get? No, I can't risk it, right? And so the mind starts interfering with what the heart already knows, or what you already have intuitively sensed and or felt. And that's when there's kind of resistance to the inner guidance, the inner pull. Because I'm seeing the Knight of Vessels as representing your intuition. And the Four of Swords is representing your mind, logic, thoughts. So I feel like this full moon kind of infused you with daydreams. It kind of distracted you a bit from overthinking or from ruminating, so that there could be less resistance, so that there could be more allowance. so that you could release. And for a lot of you, if it wasn't daydreaming, it could have been something like it infused you with sleepiness, where all you wanted to do was just take a nap, doze off, when you could, when it was safe for you to do so. Because it is often said that when we are asleep is when we are the less resistant, the more allowing, which is why we often have crazy dreams, even nightmares, because when we are in our REM sleep, everything that has been repressed or suppressed in the depths of our subconscious comes up to the surface to be acknowledged, to be addressed, possibly even cleared out. We could do a lot of clearing out and healing during our REM sleep via our dreams. So, I feel like that was the case. And so this full moon, or around this full moon, it could have been quite trippy for a lot of you, very, very spacey. And you could have also had very vivid, peculiar, or telling dreams. Like dreams that really stood out to you, spoke to you, made you become aware of certain things, like maybe fears, insecurities. These dreams could have brought up things from the past, things that you thought you had moved on from, forgotten, as well as brought to your attention certain longings that maybe you also have been repressing, certain desires, wishes, for example, dreams as in goals, long forgotten. You could have also had dreams where you felt like you were receiving some kind of message, maybe a direct message from your spirit guides, your higher self. You could have even had visitation dreams where you dreamt of loved ones who have passed on. You could have received messages from these loved ones via your dreams. I feel like during this full moon, a lot of you could have experienced a lot of synchronicities. You could have seen or received a lot of signs in your 3D reality. The word trippy keeps coming to mind, so I feel like some of you had a lot of trippy experiences, and what that means might vary for each one of you. For some, it could be something like you were thinking of someone and then they called you, or you saw something in your mind's eye and then 3 minutes later you saw it in your physical 3D, or some of you could have even had paranormal experiences. But I also feel like during this time, a lot of you could have connected or felt the more connected with your inner spirit, with spirituality. I do feel a lot of you had some kind of experience that confirmed to you that you are indeed connected to spirit, or that you can connect with spirit, or that spirit can and does connect and or communicate with you. So during this full moon, a lot of you could have felt the more curious about spirituality, maybe even psychic abilities. You could have found yourself looking more into maybe esoteric, metaphysics, or the spirit realm is how it's coming through. But when it comes to what changed, the Seven of Cups fell out in the reversal, which is a card that speaks of illusions and daydreams, as well as options. So it falling out in the reversal and then the Emperor coming through as a clarifier lets me know that after this full moon, you became a lot more grounded. So I wonder if you have noticed that after the full moon, you have spent less time up in your head, or there has been less overthinking, less ruminating. Because the Emperor being the fourth major arcana of the deck, it's very grounded in reality. It's a very grounding card. And the Emperor being associated with masculine energy, this is all about the tangible, about making, working, building. So I feel like what changed because or with the help of this full moon is that you have become a lot more present. And because you have become a lot more present, you are able to connect more with your physical reality. Because the Three of Cups being a card of a celebration, as well as community, friendship, gatherings, merriment. This lets me know that since the full moon, you have found it easier to connect with others. So if in the past, whenever having a conversation with others, you found yourself disengaging from the conversation because you started getting lost in thought. I feel like what has changed because or with the help of this full moon is that you are now able to more easily bring yourself back to the present. There's this feeling of being able to snap out of it. And it's when you want to, right? It's when you desire to do so. And what most importantly, what I feel has changed is that there is less rumination. If you are someone who tends to get stuck in the past, or you get caught up in the future, like what's going to happen tomorrow or a week from now or a month from now or a year from now, and the reason why you get either stuck on the past or caught up in the future is because of anxieties, worries, feelings of shame, embarrassment, or guilt. I feel like this full moon helped ease or lessen those very feelings that induced you to go back to the past or forwards into the future. Because the Three of Cups is making me think of peace. So something that I'm seeing here is either you could have found peace with the past or made peace with the past or made peace with the unknown. And the Three of Cups is also making me think of contentment. It's like you have found or you're finding contentment in your here and now, in being in your present. You're finding reasons to celebrate the here and now. You're reconciling with the fact that the past is in the past and the future has yet to come. And so worrying about something that has already transpired is a waste of energy and of your time, because the past cannot be changed. It can only be perceived differently. And there is nothing wrong with thinking of the future, anticipating future events to plan or prepare for them as best you can, or using the future as motivation. It's more about being careful that your focus on the future doesn't pull you out of the here and now in a way where you begin taking little to no conscious action in your here and now, and or engage less with your physical reality. So why expend so much energy, especially mental energy, on trying to control something that it does not want to be controlled, when we can invest this energy in the present, which is the only moment in time that is awaiting our action. Think of it like a game of chess. You can think of a past move, but that's in the past. You can predict future moves, but those are just predictions. And so if you focus too much on the past or focus too much on the future, then you won't be focusing on the here and now, which is the only time that you can actually make a move so that the game can progress. So this full moon called you to focus on the here and now, to take action in the here and now, to possibly get out of your head a little bit, to start living in the here and now. So I feel like this is what changed. And I wonder if the reason why you're finding yourself being more in the present moment is because a lot of the worries that maybe were consuming you, you have released them or they have eased up. I feel like, this full moon helped to induce you with a feeling of peace, of calm, or helped to clear your mind of worries that were simply distracting you from living your life to the fullest. Because at the end of the day, these worries were illusions, maybe limited thinking, or irrational fears. So I do feel like there's something that you did end up letting go of or detaching yourself that had to do either with the past or with the future. And any worries, any thoughts, any ideas that kept you up at night or that kept you wondering and or doubting your life, doubting your joy, are the things that you also released or detached from. Because now with the 7 of Vessels and the reversal and the 3 of Cups, this is making me think of a situation in which someone was doubting their situation or their present reality, not because they didn't like the present situation or reality, but more because of ideas that were planted in their mind by something outer, something external, that begin feeding into their mind doubt. Just as an example, it makes me think of how there's so much content out there about what happiness should look like or what happiness is or what a successful person looks like or what a successful life looks like, and this content can sometimes plant seeds of doubt, such as, what if I'm not living my best life? What if there is something better out there? What if the grass is greener on the other side? What if I am missing out on something? What if this isn't it? What if this isn't all that there is to it? What if it could look better? What if it's meant to look better? What if I'm meant to do this instead of what I'm currently doing? What if this isn't happiness? It's the example that is being given to me is of someone who's eating an ice cream and they're savoring their ice cream. They're enjoying their ice cream. But then they see an ad about a different flavor of ice cream. And the ad just makes this other flavor of ice cream look so good, so tasty, that the person who is enjoying their ice cream starts wondering, what if that ice cream does taste better than mine? What if what I'm eating right now is a sucky ice cream? What if? It plants some kind of seed of doubt, of what if, even if the person was enjoying themselves, even if the person had no problem, no beef with their ice cream before. Like, they were really enjoying their ice cream. They were happy with it. They were content with it. But because they were shown this promise of something else, that's when the what if started happening. And that's when somebody started beginning kind of like questioning their present and questioning maybe even themselves. And that questioning could have resulted in a disconnect from the present, from the current reality, from the people around them, from their blessings, their current blessings. And so if that resonates with you, I feel like these seeds of doubt have been detected and have been removed. The 7 of Vessels in the reversal indicates clarity. So anything that was confusing you about your journey, it has been removed and or is slowly disintegrating. It's dissipating. And I do sense that there is a lot more clarity. Or after this full moon, you will have a lot more clarity as to what is important to you, what matters to you, especially what brings you joy and what it is that you do want to focus on. Because I feel like in the past, if there was confusion, is because there were a lot of ideas, thoughts of what you should be doing, what you should be focusing on, or what you could be doing. There could have even been a lot of back and forth about what you should be prioritizing and or focusing on or pursuing, etc. And if that was the case for you, if that was the thing that was keeping you up at night or keeping you up in your head, I feel like those are the thoughts, the possibilities that are disintegrating, because instead of helping you, they were blocking you or keeping you in some kind of loop. And so I feel like what changed is you being a lot more clear about what is important to you, what matters to you, and about what is in alignment with you, and what you want to move forwards with, what it is that you want to focus on, give more of your energy and attention to. And if you are lacking motivation, determination in the past before this full moon, I feel like after this full moon, you will find yourself with a lot more determination to get something done or to move ahead with something. Because the Emperor does not play when it comes to getting done, making stuff happen, making their dreams a reality. So I do see you taking action, and you could be taking action alongside friends or with a community. Or I do see you taking action and having the support of loved ones, friends, or of a community. But I do get this feeling of you moving forward, and your friends, your colleagues, your coworkers possibly, your classmates maybe, moving forward with you. Like you're doing your own thing, and your friends are doing their own thing, and you're all moving forward on your respective paths at the same time. But you could definitely be working with others, collaborating with others. This could be like a team effort, right? You're working on a project with others in a team. And with structure here, I do feel like after this full moon, you would feel more inspired to either come up with a plan on how to accomplish something, how to achieve a goal, or you will feel a little bit more inspired to have structure in your life as a way to keep yourself accountable or in check, or as a way to help you keep up to date with the progress or the development of something that you are working towards to or working on. Because this is all about action. This is all about making the intangible tangible. This is about making dreams a reality. You're no longer just envisioning or visualizing. Now you're creating. And to plan, we do have to think of the future, right? So I do see you considering the future, to make plans, come up with plans. But I don't see you getting lost or hooked on the future, or you're simply daydreaming or worrying about it. So I feel like what changed is your ability to be present and discern for yourself what truly matters to you, is relevant to you, and relevant to your joy and to your happiness, versus what is propaganda, what is idealization, born from societal expectations and suppositions of what is ideal, glamorous, beautiful, or successful. Right? Because someone else's idea of happiness might not be your idea of happiness, or might not be the thing that makes you happy in actuality. So this is about knowing what you are all about and what matters to you, and through that, gaining better clarity as to what you do want to focus on, what it is that you want to commit to, and realizing that the universe will help you come into alignment with that which is of your highest good. Yet, it is also up to you to make your dreams a reality, right? Because you can either wait and wait for the universe to deliver, or you can meet the universe halfway and look for opportunities, create opportunities for yourself to come into alignment with that which is of your highest good, or with that which you desire. It's realizing that you have it in you to not only envision and visualize, but also create, make your visions tangible. So I do see you taking action or being more action oriented, more proactive after this full moon, because you will be a lot more clear as to what it is that you do want to create, what it is that you want to further develop. For others of you, you could be discovering that there are certain things in your life that in actuality you are not happy with, that you're not content with, and that you do wish to either leave behind, walk away from, or transform. Because for what is staying the same, we have the Eight of Vessels, which is a card that indicates walking away and seek for something better. And we do have the keyword rebirth twice. So I feel like there is something that you possibly do need to walk away from, release, or leave behind. Possibly cut connection with, because we do have the Devil card here with bondage. There is something you need to free yourself from. But it's interesting, the illustration in the Devil card. We have a bird cage with a bird inside it, but the bird cage is open. So the bird can fly out or escape this bird cage if they wanted to. They're not necessarily trapped in this cage. And so this is interesting. I feel like there is something that you need to break free from, but this thing that you need to break free from, you're not seeing it as something that you need to break free from. Which I say interesting because what I was getting from the Seven of Vessels in the reversal is that there was something that you felt you needed to change and or walk away from or exchange for something else, because you were made to feel or to believe that this was not enough, or that this was the very thing that was holding you back, even though it really wasn't. And the thing that is actually holding you back is the thing that you are not even thinking about walking away from or releasing. So I feel like this is like a work in progress per se, because first the illusions needed to fall away, the distractions, so that then you could become clear as to what are the actual blockages. What are the things in your life that keep repeating, that no longer serve you, and that are holding you back or keeping you in some kind of loop or cycle that is leading nowhere, or is not allowing for you to move on to the next chapter of your life, grow, evolve. And so it seems like the next phase of this, let's call it work in progress, is you coming to the realization of what this pattern or cycle is, or of what is in a way holding you back. And I do feel like whatever this is, it is something that either you're very fond of it, or you've grown so accustomed to it, so familiar with it, that it's become quite comfortable to you. It's become a comfort zone. And I think that's why you're finding it difficult to see it as a thing that you need to leave behind, or to see it for what it is, a loop, something that keeps repeating over and over again. It's making me think of a water fountain. The same water gets recycled. This feels more like a pattern, maybe a routine, maybe a lifestyle for some, because we do have the butterfly here. And it makes me think of how the caterpillar transforms into a butterfly and in a way transforms into a new lifestyle, because I assume the caterpillar and the butterfly have two completely different lifestyles. And actually, because we do have the bird cage here, for some, this could be an environment. Whatever this is, it is something that you do on the daily, or it is a constant in your life. It's something repetitive. And because we do have the devil card here, which is associated with the zodiac sign Capricorn, for some, this may have to do with a career, like with work. Because if, for example, you work a corporate job, you're going to work almost every day, 5 days a week, most likely. And when you're not working, you're possibly getting ready to go to work. And so your job is kind of part of your day-to-day routine. It's your norm. I mean, this doesn't always have to be the case, but if this is the case for you, if this resonates with you, then this could be pertaining to your job, your career. With excess here, it feels like something that you do on the daily, something that you do excessively. And that's why it has become so familiar to you, almost to the point of it becoming comfortable. And so this could be about a work routine, regimen, or lifestyle. So maybe it's not the work, profession, or career itself you need to walk away from, but rather it's the work routine that needs to change. It could also be about your relationship to work. Are you codependent with your work? If so, this codependency is what you will soon be called to address and bring an end to. It's strange to call something that maybe is not having such a positive impact on us, our growth, or well-being as comfortable. But remember, that which is comfortable is only that which you feel at ease with because you know what to expect from it, right? It's your norm, it's your usual, so you know what to expect. It's like someone going to the same restaurant to order the same meal every day, not mattering if this meal is unhealthy for them, because doing so saves them a lot of trouble and possibly even discomfort of having to think of what to eat and what to order or where to go, and or order something new, go somewhere new, etc. And so I wonder if some of you are a little resistant to change, if it's easier for you to think of something new and different rather than to actually do something new and different. Because I feel like for the vast majority of you, what you are being asked to do, or what is needed, is for you to try something new and different. It's for you to get out of your routine. It's for you to, in a way, test your wings by taking flight, taking some kind of leap of faith, but not with closed eyes, rather with open and wide eyes, with awareness. Like, this is me stepping into a new era. This is me exploring something new, willingly exploring something new. I'm not being pushed to do so. This is me actively choosing to do so. Rebirth is making me think of reinvention. So for some of you, you could be called to reinvent maybe certain areas of your life, or possibly even yourself. But I feel like this is more about, again, I already said it, but getting out of a routine. No longer repeating the same old. Like actually doing something different. This is about taking a step forward instead of a step sideways. Because sometimes we can think we are doing something different, but we're actually doing the same thing, just in a new environment. Does that make sense? It's like when a product stays the same, but it's just rebranded. It's giving a new name, a new look, but it's still the same product. So to give an example, let's say if person A's codependency with work is negatively impacting their life, then not mattering where they work or what they work in, if they do not address their codependency with work, they will continue experiencing the same negative impact, because it is not about the specific line of work, but rather it is about the codependency they have with work in general. Of course, this is just an example to help illustrate how one can think they are creating change when they are instead maintaining the issue. So you're being asked to be very careful with that, with not tricking yourself in that way. Because I feel like this is about exploring discomfort. I feel like a lot of you could run away from feelings of discomfort, which is understandable, because no one likes to be uncomfortable. But being uncomfortable is part of life, I think, because oftentimes when we are feeling uncomfortable, it's not because we're in the wrong place, but rather because we are trying something unfamiliar. A lot of us are uncomfortable with the unfamiliar, especially if we're not used to stepping into unfamiliar territories. And so I feel like for you guys, it's about not running away from discomfort or the uncomfortable. Because now I'm being reminded of a wound that heals. Sometimes when a wound is healing, it feels a bit uncomfortable. You can get itchy as it starts scabbing. But that doesn't mean that anything bad is happening. It just means that the wound is healing. And so what is coming through is, which I feel is going to be a major lesson because it is going to require a lot of discernment. It's going to require for you to at times get out of your head and tap into your intuition and go within in order to assess whether something is for you or not. Whether these feelings of discomfort are a symptom of you shedding the old and embracing something new, or they are the telltale signs of you connecting with something that is out of alignment. Because what I was about to say is that if you are, let's say, trying something new and different, but when you're trying this new and different thing, you're not feeling a little bit nervous or excited. Instead, you're feeling pretty much the same, even quite comfortable with the whole process, then that could be a good indicator that you're not actually doing anything different. You're not taking a step forward per se. Instead, you're taking a step to the side. You're trying the same product just with a different label. So just keep that in mind, because I feel like the next phase of this journey or this lesson or this work in progress is you realizing what is the thing that actually has been holding you back. What are the cycles and patterns you have been repeating? And then after becoming aware of this, what this is, that's when you will be asked to, or given the opportunity to decide to either remain in this cycle, remain repeating this pattern, or end the cycle, because the death card is about ending, or stop the pattern, cut the pattern, to step into something new, release the old in order to embrace the new. But I feel like it will be up to you. I feel like this is one of the lessons, one of your lessons in this lifetime is to choose for yourself, decide for yourself whether to remain in the cage, remain inside of the cocoon, or fly out of the cage, burst out of the cocoon. To literally, both of these creatures here have wings. Test your wings, take flight, and see what else is out there. Explore the unknown. Maybe to branch out, maybe to see new sceneries, new sights. And the devil does talk about addictions, codependency, obsession, as well as unhealthy coping mechanisms. And for some, your coping mechanisms could have been escapism, maladaptive daydreaming, or avoidance. Yeah, I feel like, as mentioned, for some, this is pertaining to something that has become a constant in your life. Maybe something that you feel right now, and maybe you truly believe you depend on. which this belief is what is keeping you holding on to this, like a lifeline, a safe jacket. But I feel like very soon you will come to realize, or it will be shown to you. I feel like it will be shown to you that in actuality, this thing that you believe you depend on, you can do without it, because you do not depend on it. I know it's like the monarch butterfly believing that they depend on this chrysalis to survive, when actuality, no. Once they've turned fully transformed into a butterfly, they no longer depend on the chrysalis, nor does the bird depend on the cage. So illusions will be falling away pretty soon, so that you can reclaim your power. But I do feel like you guys have outgrown something. You have outgrown a routine. You possibly have outgrown an environment. And that's why you're being asked to get out there, to step out and step forward. I wonder if for some this is speaking about a relationship. But now I'm going to pull out one last oracle card to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance. Maybe get a look at what you are being advised to focus on right now. Maybe introspect on to gain better clarity. Maybe peace of mind. Okay, so 3 cards fell out together, and I'm going to take them all. So we have patience with Capricorn again. With wisdom, the key phrase, the hands of a clock move slowly, and the message, you might judge yourself as you race against the clock. Are you ahead or behind? Look to adjust how you measure yourself against other people or your own expectations. Cultivate your own sense of intuitive timing and let go of comparison. Yeah, I feel like with the 7 of Vessels in the reversal, maybe there was a lot of comparison. Maybe without you realizing it, you began comparing yourself with others or with societal expectations, and that placed some kind of unnecessary pressure on you, or that created some kind of self-doubt, doubt about your journey, doubt about how fast you were moving, or what was or truly is important in life. But we also have satisfaction or dissatisfaction with Taurus and emotion, and the key phrase, clear water flows from a mountain spring. If you're experiencing satisfaction right now, sit back and enjoy the sparkling current of comfort and contentment. If it's dissatisfaction you're feeling, ask yourself if you can imagine a new solution, resource, or pattern of behavior. Yeah, for some there could have been a lot of dissatisfaction, and maybe it was unclear to you as to why you were feeling dissatisfied. And so I feel like this is what you're gaining clarity about. You know, if there are feelings of dissatisfaction, you're gaining clarity about what is dissatisfying you, what is unsatisfactory in your life. And you're also getting clear about what does bring you contentment, what you are content about. It's about, I feel like a lot of you are opening up to honesty, are getting more comfortable with being honest with yourself. What I'm being shown is someone taking the time to kind of go within to answer questions such as, what am I happy with? What am I not happy with? And whatever comes up, not twisting it, but taking it as it is. In the illustration here, we have clear water, so clear that its surface is reflective. And so this is about having clarity of mind through being honest with yourself, not twisting the truth, not twisting your truth, your inner truth. So be honest about your feelings. Maybe what you value, maybe what you really care about is something that currently is not widely known, accepted, or admired. Yet just because it isn't as recognizable or admired does not mean that it is unimportant or of little value. There are, as an example, a lot of responsibilities, roles, professions, services that are seen as unimportant by some, or go unnoticed by mass media and never get a lot of good publicity. Yet they play significant roles in their respective industries, fields, ecosystems, or in society at large. So don't twist your feelings in order to accommodate with societal expectations or with others' expectations. Because once you start twisting your inner truth in order to accommodate to the expectations or beliefs of a certain collective or to certain suppositions of what needs to be or is best, then that's when you will start experiencing a lot of confusion or inner turmoil. So be honest with yourself. And through this honesty, through this sincerity, you will gain clarity. And once you've gained the clarity, that's when you can start making decisions with a lot more assertion and a lot more confidence, because there will be a lot less doubt. But then we have Sun with self-confidence and the key phrase, a figure on a golden throne with the message, it's time to allow your full self to shine. No holding back. Melt away insecurity with the heat of your inner fire. Connect with the part of you that is comfortable taking up space and let yourself radiate confidence. I chuckled weirdly because this is exactly what I saw in my mind's eye when I connected with this group's energy. I saw someone sitting on their throne, and I did mention a feminine or female figure. Look what we have here. Yeah, so I feel like this full moon helped with you tapping more into your inner confidence. It helped with boosting your confidence through mental clarity. I feel like for a lot of you, that's what is needed, mental clarity. It's about releasing self-doubt in order to step into self-confidence. Because with the Seven of Vessels being in the reversal, I feel like the moment you know what matters to you, what is important to you, what resonates with you, what is of you, and therefore for you, that's when you will notice a shift. If you struggle with self-doubt or low confidence right now, I assure you that once you become clear as to what matters to you, all that self-doubt will go away. There will be no holding back. Yeah, and it's time for you to connect with that part of you that is comfortable with taking space. Let your light shine. There's no need to play it small. Oh, why do I feel like some of you could be afraid of your own power? It's like you're playing it small to play it safe. But playing it small is only keeping you in some kind of loop. And if you've been wanting change, if you've been asking for change, or you've been asking for something better, this better will only come with change. And this change will only come if you decide to no longer play it small. When you decide to no longer play it small. And how is it that you stop playing it small? You recognize your worth and the significant role you play in the great design. You accept and acknowledge your strengths, skills, knowledge, and personal traits. You take up space by allowing yourself to be present. Fully present in the here and now. Because this is about you breaking yourself free from any bondages. You know, it's like breaking free from the chrysalis. The butterfly here could dream about flying, but as long as they don't break out of the chrysalis, all they will be doing is dreaming about flying. And it's unfortunate because this butterfly can fly. It's not like they're dreaming of the impossible. They can fly. They were designed to fly. So don't hold yourself back is the main message. But it's up to you, right? This is your life. This is your journey. And you do have free will. So at the end, it will always be up to you. Because, you know, universe can come and rattle this bird cage, scaring you out of the cage. But if you're so committed to staying in the cage, that no matter how much the universe rattles this bird cage, you will find yourself flying back into that bird cage, right? So this journey here is about learning that it's up to you to, in a way, let's say, set yourself free. It's not like you're not free. You are free. You're free to choose. Maybe it's about you realizing that you are free to choose. It's up to you. And some things might take a lot of our willpower and strength in order to walk away from and not go back to. But just because it requires a lot of effort doesn't mean that it's impossible. It doesn't mean that you don't have it in you to do it. Because you do. You are quite powerful. You're very powerful. And it's interesting how we have a sun in the background in the self-confidence card, because the sun is associated with the solar plexus, and the solar plexus is associated with masculine energy. And so I feel like a lot of you have been connecting with your masculine energy, or this full moon helped to connect you more with your masculine energy, as well as heal your inner masculine. Heal your solar plexus, possibly. So any issues regarding your self-esteem and self-image were addressed or brought to your attention during this full moon, so that they could be further addressed. Because like I said, I feel like for a lot of you, this is a work in progress still. You are working on your self-image, and you're also working on having confidence and trust in yourself to make your dreams a reality. Because it's easier to dream a dream, but it takes some type of courage, or maybe just audacity, to assert your dream into reality. To not think of it as only wishful thinking, but claim it as a plausibility. So be audacious. It's time to be audacious. The feminine, your feminine, has had the audacity to dream, to daydream, to imagine and to envision. So why can't your masculine, your inner masculine, be given the permission to be audacious as well, to do their own thing, to make, to create, to build, to bring forth, to assert? Let your inner feminine and your inner masculine hold hands. Be the power dynamic that they are, that they were always meant to be, to birth something beautiful, not only in the 5D, but also in the 3D. And I have spoken of union, and I do wonder if you are currently single, or you hope to someday come into union with a life partner, with a counterpart. I feel like this journey here that I've spoken of is allowing for you to come in contact and in union with a counterpart, someone who you could create with and learn from and learn with, as well as grow with. And so because I feel like this counterpart who you are aligning with will end up mirroring you, reflecting a lot of yourself back to you, before you come into union with this person, I think, and what I mean by union is be in harmony with this person. And so it would not only depend on you, but it will also depend on this person, because union will be where both of you have reached a state where you can work together, where you can meet eye to eye. And so in order to reach union, I feel like you need to be and feel comfortable with being with yourself, seeing yourself, and working with yourself. Because if you're not, then it might be difficult to be with this person, see this person for who they truly are, and work with them, which is what union entails. So remember, you can come in contact with somebody and possibly be in a relationship with them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you are in union with that person. Union is a kind of state of harmony, equality, and reciprocity. But I do want to end your reading with one last message. And I'm not going to offer my interpretation. I'm just going to share what's on the card and allow for you to give it your own interpretation. I mean, you could do that with any of the cards I've just shown you, but I really want to encourage for you to connect with the message that is on the card to see what comes up for you. Okay, and we have Grayson Perry with scratch at the surface until your fingers bleed. Meaning separates art from craft. Try something new, the old-fashioned way. Okay, but these are all the messages coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance, some clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you're new to this channel and you wish to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. To all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them play in the background, thank you so much for that, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this growing channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. But before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to my spirit team and your spirit guides for assisting me with delivering these messages to you, as well as the energy of the full moon for assisting me with delivering these messages to you. And I'm wishing you a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you are watching. And until the next moment, bye bye.